Hi, everyone. I am Carrie Tingley with Eaton, and thank you for joining us today for our LinkedIn Live event. We will be discussing the evolution of manufacturing careers in the digital age. I'll be moderating our session today, and if you're seeing me, that means you've made it into the event and you're in the right place. Before we get started, a quick reminder that you will not be asked to and should not click on any links during this event. We welcome your comments and questions, but we will not be asking you to click any links. For those of you joining today who may not be familiar with Eaton, we are an intelligent power management company with a diverse portfolio of products and services. Our mission is to improve the quality of life and the environment through the use of power management technologies. We think and act both tactically and strategically to delight our customers. Our manufacturing and operations employees work to solve issues, make improvements, and create efficiency in our production processes. They drive and execute initiatives to meet both production goals and those customer requirements. Daily cross-functional team collaboration is critical to manufacturing and operations success. With me today, I have a panel of amazing manufacturing leaders from around the globe. Each will take a couple of minutes to introduce themselves, including their role with Eaton, what excites them about manufacturing, and a fun fact about themselves. Amber, let's start with you.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everyone. My name's Amber DePietro. I've been with Eaton for 15 years. I started my career as a leadership development program participant, and that program is an expedited growth experience in operations, tech sales, or finance, with 3 one-year rotations in different roles in different locations. From there, I took various operations management roles, also a corporate HR role with a focus in inclusion and diversity, where I helped to launch several of our inclusion resource groups. Then I was a plant manager at our Bethel, Connecticut aerospace location. From there, I came to Greenwood, South Carolina, and ran the medium voltage assemblies and medium voltage switches facility as the plant manager, and then recently transitioned over as the product line manager at the same facility to get some commercial marketing experience. A fun fact about me, in 2020, I was named as the Manufacturing Institute Step Ahead Women Make America nominee and recognized for my work in the manufacturing industry, as well as mentorship that I provided to the next generation of female leaders, which is a passion point of mine. So look forward to spending some time with you today. I'll hand it over to Joe to introduce himself.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Estano. I'm the plant manager for Eaton's Aerospace Group facility in East Providence, Rhode Island. Started my career with Eaton pretty close to 20 years ago now. Started as a manufacturing engineer, worked my way up through engineering, doing projects around process development, new product launches. Then from there, spent a lot of years in continuous improvement. So leading process improvement efforts and continuous improvement, lean manufacturing projects throughout aerospace, and then worked my way up into operations leadership and plant management from there. So a majority of my career has been in the aerospace group. I did spend a couple of years at our Kearney, Nebraska vehicle group facility, very highly automated, high volume production, supporting automotive industry. So good experience there. I also left Eaton for a few years and recently worked for TechEtch, a private med device manufacturer based in Massachusetts, and only just returned to Eaton about 3 months ago. So happy to be back with Eaton and excited to be here today as part of this event.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Alex Antau. I'm originally from Arad in Romania. I'm a mechanical engineer that started in automotive sector and joined Eaton what actually feels like a lifetime ago in 2011. I started part of the Romanian startup location as the VSM or production manager and expanded the role from there. I was also in charge of engineering, maintenance, CI, and a number of roles. From 2014, I joined the team in UK as the plant manager on one of our facilities in Aldridge, Birmingham. And after that, I moved to the fire platform in the southern part of Wales. Now I am responsible and supporting a number of our sites in South Africa, Turkey, Netherlands, Finland, and obviously here in UK as well. What excites me about manufacturing? It needs to be the amazing people that I've got the pleasure to be working with and learning from on a day-to-day basis. Fun fact about me? Well, we all know how it is after a long week. We want to distress, we want to re-energize. So my passion is skydiving, and I represent the Team GB in this year's World Cup as well. That's me in a nutshell. Thank you again for joining us today.
Excellent. Thanks to all of you for that. I'm excited for our discussion today. I would like to remind the audience again that we will be answering questions that come directly from you. So please submit your questions via the comments section, and we will do our best to respond to as many as we can. So let's get started now with talking about how technology has changed the manufacturing environment. And Joe, maybe you can talk about this one first.
Yeah, sure, Carrie. So maybe a little bit of history lesson to start us off here, but manufacturing has been constantly changing with innovations in technology, really going back centuries. Going all the way back to around the year 1800 with the first industrial revolution, which really began with the launch of mechanization, machines that allowed manufacturers to make the same part every time to the same specifications. And also that was the beginning of use of steam power for powering plants. So further on, later in the 1800s, going into the early 1900s, is what is recognized as the second industrial revolution, with the introduction of electrical power to power plants, make operations easier, more efficient, and that also entered the concepts of mass production and assembly line type production. Think Henry Ford and the dawn of the automobile and the automotive industry. The third industrial revolution is kind of recognized as mid-1900s, when computers and electronics entered the picture and began working their way into manufacturing facilities. So manufacturing operations over time have consistently had to change and reinvent themselves as these major periods of technology advancement have happened. And only in the last 5 to 10 years, we've entered what is really being dubbed as the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, with the dawn of smart factories, artificial intelligence, learning machines, and even moving into advanced manufacturing concepts such as automation, high volume automation, 3D printing, and those types of processes. So we're in another exciting period of change here, entering a more digital age of manufacturing.
No, thank you, Joe. And look, there is absolutely no denying that the manufacturing industry has undergone a profound transformation over the past decade, driven mainly by advancement in technology. And we could spend here hours or days discussing about the different technologies: automation, robotics, the evolution of collaborative robots, digitalization, Internet of Things, and so on. But for me personally, the main benefit that we are seeing now in our manufacturing environment is reflected in the safety numbers. I will bore you with one statistics. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the injury rate for manufacturing industry between 1992 and 2019 has reduced with more than 70%. And I've got something that I keep telling my teams is brains, not biceps. Right? What we are asking our teams to use now that we've got a bigger toolbox with all of this technology, it's not about using muscles anymore. It's not about lifting. It's not about that heavy manufacturing. It's about how can we really use our team's main muscles to put us forward in technology. And if we just continue looking at the EHS, right, automation and robotics in manufacturing, in terms of ergonomics, it reduces the risk with more than 80%. Machine learning and predictive maintenance can reduce unplanned downtime with more than 50%. And as a result, the need for our team to rush into an equipment and try to fix it, and maybe sometimes not following the safety protocols. We talk about safety sensors, machine vision, VR and ER that can help us and are helping us with training. And also our people in the field that do not need to know everything or expose themselves to some potentially dangerous situations. They can put the goggles and somebody in the back office with more knowledge or a team behind them can be there and support. Internet of Things, wearable technology, there are so many things that besides all the better lead time close to the customer financial benefits are keeping our people safe. And for me personally, this is the main advantage of technology.
Thanks, Alex. I just want to jump in here. So at Eaton, we've done a lot around, integrating technology. I think the biggest thing is around data analytics and using some of our interrupter data around labor, machine downtime, material quality issues to help drive some of our capital investments and productivity improvements. Our vehicle business started, as Joe mentioned, right, high mix, low volume, or high volume, low mix environment. And so they integrated automation first. And then recently, we've just established 5 what we're calling Industry 4.0 Lighthouse benchmark facilities that are going to implement best-in-class, fully automated solutions. So thanks to Joe and Alex for giving us the history, and just wanted to close it out with some of the stuff that Eaton's doing to embrace technology.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I certainly see it. It's clear that modern technology has resulted in increased safety and productivity, and these innovations can be used to better serve our customers. So let's talk now about how digitalization specifically has transformed the landscape of manufacturing careers in recent years. And Amber, maybe you can start us off with this one.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. So I'm going to talk about more how it's affected our customers from, voice of customer and their needs shifting to be more digital. Eaton is actually developing a solution, and BrightLayer is that solution. It's our digital platform to deliver value-added data, smart connectable devices and solutions with assemblies and gear to visual software dashboards. It's going to allow our customers to pick certain features to monitor, like thermal or transients, for improved predictive maintenance and improved uptime. And so I'm going to hand it over to Joe to talk about how that affects manufacturing, but we are doing a lot from the customer solution side.
Yes, agreed. And I think what I've seen in my career is how equipment itself has changed and required upskilling of current employees, right? So as technology changes, the needs of the workforce change a little bit. And one example I think of is CNC equipment, where years ago you may have a tech or an offline programmer who's in the office on a computer programming equipment, and then they're launching the program out to the machine, and then the operator's setting up and running. Where in recent years, more and more equipment, the controls have advanced to the point that it's much more conversational. So the most efficient way to perform that task now, in many cases, is the operator at the control themselves, running a part. The machine control will learn that and program itself. So you're simplifying it, but the needs of an operator who maybe used to be a button pusher, now they're more of a process developer, or they're working with the machine to build that repeatable program. So
I think I will expose myself a little bit here. I'm absolutely awful in remembering anniversaries or special events or things like that, right? Fact. And I rely on technology now to make sure that even the day before, I can still order, and that order is arriving on time. And before putting my suit on, before putting my tie and all of those things, I'm a person, and after that I'm a customer, and after that I'm a professional. So if my behavior as a consumer is I want things done quickly, when I put my operational hat on and I go to our manufacturing facilities and so on, we want the same thing. We want to be quicker. Our customers are expecting us to be quicker. because everyone has a private life in which we are used to getting things quick. And it doesn't matter if it's a paperclip or a 8 MVA transformer, the market wants the product delivered quickly. Right? So the entire industry is shifting and the expectations are shifting significantly. And we are using technology to make sure that we are, starting from the customers, we are able to deliver that. And going back to that, what does it mean? If we start with the footprint, you remember 20 years ago, 50 years ago, a lot of manufacturing was going east. Now it's coming back because customers will not wait 6 months until that paperclip will be delivered from a manufacturing overseas. So what does it mean for my kids? And the discussion I had with my kids, manufacturing has a future everywhere in the world because the customer expectations are changing. And we are talking about highly specialized jobs, not anymore people making horseshoes and so on by banging metal. Highly specialized jobs everywhere around the world where the market exists. So from my point of view, this is the main change. Jobs are becoming more professional, more specialized, and they are coming back where the customer base is as well.
Excellent. All right, so we are getting a lot of questions from the audience, and I'm going to take a couple of these right now. The first one being, what skills and competencies are becoming increasingly important for individuals looking to succeed in manufacturing careers today? So who would like to take this one first?
I think I'll start, Carrie, if that's okay. So I think we still have some of the fundamental skills around problem solving and conflict management as we're working with people every single day. However, the biggest thing is that shift to more analytical skills. So the ability to use Power BI and Excel to quickly analyze data so that you can take that back to the production line real time and implement improvements. I think too, thinking and acting strategically is going to be critical. The manufacturing footprint is shifting. You look at some of the onshoring that we're doing right now in the US based off of some of the government spending with chip fabrication and manufacturing. And so being agile and having a good strategy around your manufacturing footprint is going to be critical to be able to implement some of the new technology and be able to also build the business case to convince the organization to invest those capital dollars into your facility. Alex, I think you're going to build on this.
Any other comments on this?
I should take myself out of mute after so many years of different technology. Look, skills and competency. Absolutely agree with what you said, Amber. And a couple of main things for me again is data analytics, and even more important than that, ability to take decisions. Right? It's not so much information is power. Well, information is everywhere. It's so easy to get it. How do you filter that information quickly? How can you quickly use those bits of information and actually take an action on it? Is part of the critical skills that I'm looking at. The next one is people skills. Right? How can we make sure that those people the dreamers are able to convey their message using parts of information and turn a dream, a vision, an idea into reality? Joe, would you like to add on it?
Yeah, and I agree with Amber and Alex. I mean, problem solving and data analytics are skills that will always be important. I might add, even though it may sound contrary to the point of this event, I think one skill that will always be important and maybe increasingly important is that interpersonal skill, right? In this age where flexible work solutions have become the norm, work from home, working through digital means and all that. But manufacturing always has been and will be based in plants where workers are doing real work. And I think having that skill to take advantage of the flexible solutions and work from home, but at least be connected to the day-to-day, have an ear to the ground and make those relationships in the plant. I think is an important skill and will become more important as more digital options are out there.
Excellent. So thank you, Katie, for that question. And we're going to take a question from Mark. What role does inclusion and diversity play in the manufacturing industry, and how can organizations like Eaton promote inclusion?
Let me take a lead of this. Our customer base is changing. Our customers can be worldwide. They can be different religion. They can be different height. They can be having different beliefs and so on. Our duty is to make sure that we understand those needs and be able to come with a solution that is not just tailor-made for a so-called typical person. There's no such thing as typical person. It's made for the entire customer base. Again, personal example, my son is in a wheelchair, right? Having people at the table that are also thinking, well, where is the safety switch located for that safety switch to be able to be accessed by different people and so on, is critical in any kind of business that wants to succeed. So the only way to understand your market is to make sure that you've got an inclusive and diverse workforce that really thinks of different scenarios and is coming with solutions that are suitable for our markets. Amber, would you like to add on that?
So obviously, right, I took a role in inclusion and diversity and completely agree. I think it's so important to make sure that we have people from different backgrounds and different perspectives in our manufacturing facilities and in those conversations and making those critical decisions around strategy for our facilities. As Alex referenced, our customers have such a diverse background that it's important to make sure that we're considering all aspects when developing products and putting processes in place. So it's absolutely critical. And it's a big focus for us. One of our critical goals around, being a leader for a model for inclusion and diversity. And Carrie, I think that actually segues nice into our next question, kind of with a little bit around sustainability.
Excellent. So thank you for questions from the audience. And just a reminder to keep those questions coming. We will get to as many of them as we can. I do want to change topics just a little bit and talk about how sustainability comes into play in manufacturing and how is Eaton leading this charge?
Yeah,
Amber,
I'll start.
Maybe you can start us off here too.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I started my career with Eaton in environmental health and safety. So this is a passion area of mine. And I've seen, with Eaton, we started our EHS culture journey in the early 2000s. Alex talked a lot about our safety journey in his earlier responses. And that naturally has segued into our sustainability focus and our 2030 sustainability goals, which I think we're going to flash the website up. So if you're interested, you can click to learn more. So we've made several capital investments. We've certified 75% of our sites are zero waste to landfill. We've reduced greenhouse gas emissions by 27% since 2018. And we've certified 10% of our sites are zero water discharge. Our 2030 sustainability goals not only focus on reducing our carbon emissions at Eaton and doing business right, but on helping our customers achieve their goals with our intelligent power management solutions. We have products out there with EV charging and battery storage, microgrid design and deployment with our engineering services organization. And we've got a big strategy around energy transition. So as you can see, these are some of the things that we're doing around sustainability. And I think, Joe, you've got something to add here as well with being a leader of some of the sites that are zero waste to landfill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, through my career, I've led multiple plants to achievement of zero waste to landfill. And, some of this is obvious, right? Recycling what can be recycled with plastics and paper and having good programs in the plants. But But to really get to zero waste to landfill, which is a goal for this company, it's about getting beyond that, right? Finding creative ways to put your remaining waste to beneficial reuse. And that answer is going to be different for every plant, depending on what your waste streams look like and what they are. So, for example, we've found ways to send waste that can't be traditionally recycled to waste to energy power plants. They actually use waste to burn and create heat and fire steam generators and actually create power. So there are more and more throughout the US, and just thinking outside the box, finding ways to route waste streams to those types of operations where the waste can be put to good use and not just rotting in a landfill. So it goes to our sustainability goals, and really it's just the right thing to do, right?
And it's slightly more than just the right thing to do. So if I just step back 1 second, by the way, I completely agree with both you, Amber and Joe. Eaton is a publicly traded company and has been doing that for over 100 years. And one of the main differences between 100 years from ago and now is what the shareholders are expecting. So while before it was about financial return, now it's about delivering value. And when we talk about delivering value, sustainability is one of those core values. We cannot remain on the market unless we do the right thing. And more than that, our employees are expecting us to do the right thing. They are pushing us, and through what they are doing day in, day out, they make sure that we are a more socially responsible company every day. And I saw that we've got a couple of team members from Aspu in the chat. And I will give them as an example. We are building a new facility in Finland right now. We actually got the keys and are in the process of moving as we speak. This new facility, zero waste to landfill, zero industrial water used, carbon-free electricity, heat recovery systems and heat pumps for heating. We've got 62, a little bit of promo here, Eaton charging stations. If you're interested, contact your sales colleague. And we also have plans for energy recycling and solar panel installation. And this is just what we are doing on the infrastructure. In operations, we've got a lot of programs to see how we can reduce our carbon footprint. In our supply chain, we are taking similar actions to make sure that the impact on the environment is being reduced day by day, month by month, year by year. And this is something that is not just top-down driven. This is what our colleagues from all parts of the organization are pushing to make contributions. So all of those small contributions, plus the support that we are getting from the Eaton leadership team, is making a huge contribution. And an advice for any company out there, without sustainability, I do not see how there can be a future.
Yeah, really interesting points. And also our customers as well are making purchasing decisions based upon sustainability decisions that companies make. So we're going to transition to a question I see in the chat as well from Bessa Rudin. And he's asking about the effect of automation on employability. And with all of this technology, we do still hear about labor shortages in manufacturing. So let's talk about why humans are still critical in the world of smart manufacturing.
Let me start with,
Alex, maybe
with
you
that.
can help us out and start here.
Yeah. When you talk about manufacturing, it's not just an order by miracle lands in a facility, right? Manufacturing means that somebody is starting to think about what do the customer want next time, what is the need in the market. From that point all the way to delivering a solution, I will call it part of manufacturing. Why we need people and why we'll always need people is people dream, people inspire and are inspired. People have emotions, right? Technology, automation, everything that we discussed before, they are just different tools that are enabling us to make those dreams into reality, right? Look at Apollo. Look at our first moon mission. Look at what different companies are doing. That's not what technology is doing. Technology is enabling. but everything starts with a dream. Everything starts with an idea. And because of that, we will always need people. Look at what happened during the pandemic, and I cannot be prouder to how my team reacted then. How when they saw a need, we completely mobilize and make sure that we are making at that point it was systems that enable additional hospitals to be open, additional COVID facilities to be open. All of those are driven by people. I was unfortunately in Ankara in Q1 when we had the earthquake in Turkey. The way people mobilized, supported by technology and information, to make sure that our Eaton products and services are supporting with the infrastructure that ultimately not just saves lives at the moment, but also supporting rebuilding livelihoods, is the power of people. So no matter how much technology will evolve and what other robots and automation and IO things will behave, we will always need people to dream.
Yes, agreed, Alex. And if I might jump in.
Joe, would you like to add some thoughts to this one as well?
Yep. It really, people need to be the architects of these new systems, right? People need to design, lead, and manage these changes in technology. And the needs of the new systems might be different, but and they may require upskilling or changes in capabilities, but the needs will always still be there.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump in here real quick because I think, Joe, you talked about upskilling, right?
Agreed.
And when we think
so let's talk a little bit about
when we think about traditional manufacturing roles, we've got several different functional roles at Eaton. So just want to take an opportunity while we've got everyone to talk about some of the different manufacturing roles. So, there's quality. That's going to be the customer line of defense. They're going to drive process adherence, problem solving to root cause, and drive some of our internal audit programs. So again, right, as we leverage more technology, quality is a great career to go into from an upskill standpoint. EHS, right, they're driving a lot of the safety and environmental compliance and culture development to reduce incidents. Our manufacturing engineers, they're looking at capital investments that we need to make, new technology, heavily integrated with the Industry 4.0 initiatives we've been talking about, and developing our processes. And then lastly, and I think Joe referenced this, our OpEx, or operational excellence or continuous improvement engineers, they're working on flow and layout improvements, how to improve productivity, driving standard work in 5S. And then our maintenance professionals are helping to keep our equipment running by monitoring uptime and performing preventative maintenance. So, there's several different paths that you can take in manufacturing. And that's a great way that Eaton helps to develop their talent, right? You can go from a traditional operations role into quality, into an EHS role, all under that manufacturing umbrella. So just wanted to close out with that. And Carrie, I think you said we're going to take a couple questions from the audience, right?
Sure, we can absolutely do that right now. There's a question coming in from Ajmi asking about upskilling skills to be ready for the next step and where to work on herself. Where does she start? So can you please offer any guidance on that, especially maybe around data analysis, software development areas?
Can I start with that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Before
absolutely.
jumping into anything that we will say, what inspires you? What motivates you? What makes you tick? Based on that, don't allow anyone telling you what you should be doing. Find out what you're passionate about and be the best one in that. Be the best person you can be on that field. Right? So I do not care what it is. I can promise you one thing. If you will be if you will be really good at it, not just extreme, you will have a career in manufacturing. Manufacturing is so broad, as we talked about, that there is a place for everyone, no matter what your skills are. But you need to be passionate about it, and you need to fulfill that dream. Amber, Joe, would you like to add on that?
No, I think one thing we haven't really touched on yet is or Alex maybe just touched on it, but the breadth of fields and careers that are around manufacturing that maybe aren't even as technical or engineering based, right? Supply chain folks and program managers. So the range of opportunities are very broad. So it's tough to say exactly what any one person should work on next. But Alex, I really like your response, right? It's find your passion and work hard and learn everything you can, soak it in, and be the best you can. And there are many doors that could open. So.
Yeah, and I'm just going to close out on this question. I think from specifics, right, as far as upskilling, knowing how to quickly analyze data in Excel, being comfortable with creating and developing and using, right, Power BI from an analytics perspective. Those are going to be critical, right? If you come into our manufacturing facilities, you're going to be able to jump in and quickly add value. We talked about being able to analyze data on a fast-paced environment. And so I think those are just a couple examples, Ajmi, of a few specifics, getting good at the basics to be able to quickly, right, do a data download, get some analysis out to the line so we can get it back up and running.
Yeah, good advice from all of you. And I do want to get back to another question. Before that, I want to apologize if there's any bandwidth issues, especially on my part. So thank you to the panelists for continuing that conversation. If you're seeing any delays from me, just keep doing that. And now let's talk about the stereotypes that you frequently hear about careers in manufacturing. And let's discuss which are true and which are not.
Yeah, I think I'll start on this one if that's okay, Carrie. So some of the stereotypes I hear in manufacturing are
Amber,
long.
do you want to start us off on this one?
Yeah. Long hours, constant issues. You have to be in person in office for a manufacturing role. The blue collar versus white collar, that manufacturing isn't as sexy as the tech industry, or maybe not as technologically advanced. It's dirty, maybe unsafe, loud, or very manual. And so I think Alex talked earlier in the conversation about all we've done at Eaton around EHS and safety being a foundation of culture and our business success and how we drive results. And so want to dispel any of those myths, right, that our manufacturing facilities are unsafe. We've done a lot of work, made a lot of investment to have some world-class manufacturing facilities across the globe at Eaton. And I think for me, what I really love every day about manufacturing is every day there's a new problem to solve. You come into work, you may not know what that specific problem is. So, the ability to get creative, think outside the box, to be able to get products to our customers is kind of why I'm passionate about manufacturing. Joe, Alex, anything to add there?
Yeah, I think in my career, I've heard a knock on the manufacturing industry as just this mindset that these jobs are going away, right? That and for the past several decades, there has been a trend of offshoring and sending work to lower cost or best cost countries. But in recent years, definitely last decade or so, there has been a reversing trend to this, and there are a lot of manufacturing jobs coming back to the U.S., coming back even to the Northeast part of the U.S. where I'm home. So yeah, and to some extent, there will always be manufacturing jobs, right? When you get into government contract work, there's a certain portion of work that needs to be done in the homeland here. So the mentality that jobs are leaving the U.S. and going away is it may have been that way for many years, but it has been reversed in recent years.
I keep going back to my kids. They are 11 and a half now. And last year, when I asked them, how do you imagine manufacturing? And this is why I gave the example before about the horseshoes. For some reason, they had the impression that you've got that big man with a hammer just banging metal in a dirty environment in order to manufacture something. most of our manufacturing site, you will have more people with iPads than with a hammer. I cannot remember the last time I have actually seen a hammer on the shop floor, right? Manufacturing has evolved and manufacturing has digitalized. I mean, let me give you the best example. 10 years ago, I would not have heard a discussion in the electrical sector about cybersecurity. Now in the manufacturing team, we have cybersecurity experts because this is how our products are evolved. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a solution for a specific need. So that will be my my quick summary of it. Manufacturing is not what you or I have seen in movies a couple of years ago. It's totally different.
All right, let's take a question from Amber in the audience. And what would you say is the most exciting part of being in manufacturing this year and beyond?
Yeah, I can jump in on this. Some of the most exciting things, we've talked a lot about sustainability, and we've talked about leaps in advancements in technology, but haven't talked a lot about how we put that into application. And right now, some of the products we're working on that bring all these things together are really exciting. And to me, even having been in this industry for decades, seeing things happen and seeing our teams come up with solutions to problems that are exciting and solve real issues. I'm thinking of one program in particular where we're replacing a historic part assembly for a customer, working with the customer on it to replace it with a 3D printed part. We're taking a very complex design to production that replaces an old design that was a multi-component assembly, probably 8 to 10 components that all had to be manufactured, assembled together, where now it's one piece and it's 3D printed, and it never could have been made with traditional manufacturing machining methods, right? But it solves so many problems at the same time, right? For the customer, it reduces weight. In the aerospace industry, weight is everything when it comes to fuel efficiency on flight aerospace applications, right? But at the same time, it simplifies our supply chain. So rather than purchasing 10 components from 10 different places, we have one. And it also cuts down manufacturing lead time from what used to be months to just a few weeks. So we talk about what's exciting about manufacturing now. It's things like that. And I'm kind of speaking an aerospace application, but these things are happening all over our business. So.
I've got two answers to that. The number one about excitement, and it's nothing new, right? We make dreams come true. From a design engineer, from somebody saying, I'm thinking of something, we materialize it. You can actually see the part there, you can touch it, and more than that, it serves a purpose. So if I'm looking at some of the products that we are making, switchgears, transformers, without those ones, we will not have electrification. We will not have this entire movement without our product. So first of all, is the purpose behind it. Right? What we make, especially in Eaton and so many other companies, it matters. It helps the entire electrification and other mega trends that will make humanity better, that will ensure that we'll have a future for our kids. The second part, and absolutely aligned with Joe, is, do you remember when Evergreen blocked the Suez Canal? Do you remember the start of the pandemic? Do you remember the earthquake in Turkey? All of those things, right? When we talk about a global approach, a global company with supply chain base everywhere, it's never a dull day. You always need to assess what does it mean? How do we pivot our approach? How can we support? How can we be part of a solution for one of those problems? And we are working with some absolutely amazing people that are helping on that. So why be in manufacturing? We have a purpose, and you will never be bored.
And I think I'm going to jump in to close that out, right? About not being bored. I think for me, the most exciting part at Eaton and within manufacturing is just the growth that we're seeing, as well as the investment that Eaton is making in our businesses, right, across the globe. Specifically for my business, with our distribution and control assemblies, we've just seen a massive investment, and that's so exciting. To continue to grow and get creative to drive solutions. I think too, it's, Alex and Joe kind of alluded to it, supply chain. So we haven't really talked a lot about that, right? In the manufacturing careers of the digital age. That, in my opinion, is going to make or break an organization in the, coming out of COVID. It's been really challenging with some of our tier 2 and 3, and as I call them, the mom and pop right suppliers, the small suppliers that didn't make it through the COVID time. And so we've had to get creative. And I think that's going to be an enabler. We talk about, the digital age. And so we're going through a lot of ERP enhancements so that we can better leverage data for our material planning and trying to get creative with solutions for dual and triple sourcing and leveraging some of the 3D printed solutions as Joe referenced. So, I think I'd be remiss if we had this conversation with 15 minutes left and we didn't talk a lot about supply chain. So I think that's going to be a really critical enabler to, everyone, and particularly Eaton's success in the future. You can't build product if you don't have, components and parts to build it.
Yep, very good point. So we did talk a little bit about some exciting projects and initiatives, an example around 3D printing, but what else are each of you working on to stay at the forefront of digital manufacturing within Eaton?
Maybe another example of systems I've worked with don't apply to the product as much, but just on running our facilities. So implementing smart factory concepts, building management software, so intelligent equipment, and I'm talking more like lighting and boilers and air dryers and HVAC units and things that power the facility and keep us moving. Built in with intelligent sensors, they can self-diagnose, help to simplify troubleshooting, and even call for repairs when they're ready. So the idea of TPM and preventive maintenance is really changing with smarter, more efficient facility infrastructure.
No, and just to build on what you said, Joe. So look, for all of our facilities, we've got an Industry 4.0 roadmap. So we understand for all of us where we are, what is the ideal stage considering the technology now, and what is the glide path to that. Honestly, I am not the expert. And I think that's important to say that I do not know everything. And whoever says I know everything about Industry 4.0, I would challenge it. You might be an expert, as we discussed before, at a specific bit. And after that, we've got colleagues that are specializing and supporting our sites with the expertise, with the tools, with the knowledge, with the support to reach those milestones for Industry 4.0. But it's not one glove fits all, right? And this is where we need to put a little bit of brakes. Understand the needs of every facility, understand where you want to go and what will help you, right? What will actually deliver value considering your market, considering your geographical position, considering your cost base and so on, and utilize the tools that work for you. Technology is a tool. We are not using one tool for every problem that we have. So know what's there, understand the overall vision, have a look at the toolbox in terms of technology, and make sure that you've got the people around you that can help you picking the correct tool, training your people on how to use it, and implementing that tool successfully.
All right, thank you for that. And as we begin to think about our wrap up, we can still take a couple more questions from the chat if they do come in. I do want to do just a quick lightning round with the three of you and start by asking you, and we did this a little bit, but a little more detailed on offering some advice to someone considering a career in manufacturing during this. Amber, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah. So obviously I've had a unique career path to get where I am today. EHS operations, inclusion and diversity, plant manager, now in a commercial marketing operations role. I've really loved the challenge day to day and stepping into different functions and different businesses to learn and grow. And for me, I think it's just the buzz, right? The people you meet, the problems that you're solving every single day, and the satisfaction that I have leaving work every single day that I made an impact. And I'm, creating value for my customers. So I think my biggest piece of advice for this group is if you're considering a career in manufacturing, definitely do it. And if you aren't considering, I would definitely encourage you, right, to go out and see some of the opportunities that we had. We just talked about throughout this entire conversation. It's not a traditional manufacturing operations job. There's several different functions and several roles that we have out there. If you're passionate about Industry 4.0 and some of these digital solutions, we've got roles out there. We're constantly evolving and adding those new roles in. So my piece of advice for everyone is if you're a problem solver and a creative thinker, we would encourage you to join us here at Eaton today in one of our manufacturing facilities. Joe, Alex, do you want to jump in there?
It's just 2 words for me. Do it. As simple as that. You've got the link. You can see what roles are available. Try to see if your skills match and just do it.
Joe, anything?
Yeah, and then maybe piggybacking on that. So unlike Amber, my career path has maybe followed more of a traditional path from engineering into operations with some continuous improvement and program management. But one thing I've been able to take advantage of is learning manufacturing from the perspective of different industries, right? As I said, I've spent most of my career in aerospace, which is very high mix, low volume, versus spending several years in the automotive manufacturing environment, which is low mix and super high volume, very heavily automated. And then even spending time in the med device industry where regulatory things are a little bit different. So I think advice I would give is just never stop learning, right? Even if you've applied something in one type of business, even moving to the same type of role in a different industry, different sector of manufacturing, you can learn a lot from, and it can bring whole new challenges and just different nuances and perspectives than what you've seen before. So never stop learning, I think, is the advice I would give.
And Carrie, it looks like we've got one more.
I just want to say there is a question from Mac that is. Yeah, Amber, go. I think you might have been going to the same question from Mac about what we would suggest specifically for beginners in the manufacturing industry. So maybe we can focus a little bit on that. And I would say, thinking about the critical thinking skills that was mentioned, as we have so much access to data, we all still need to digest it and analyze it to make the best decisions. What else would you say specifically from a company's competency standpoint for a beginner?
Yeah, I think, right, we covered it, right? As far as beginners go, jump in, learn, be curious, join a continuous improvement team, join an employee engagement team, get involved and jump in and, right, be part of the team. I think that's going to be the biggest learning. And then you're going to get pulled into different directions and problems and issues. But I think, right, as Alex said, just do it. Jump in, take a risk. It's a lot of fun, and every day is a new problem to solve. So Joe, Alex, any comments to add there?
I had the
Totally.
pleasure. Go on, Joe, please.
Oh, sorry. No, totally agree with Amber there, right? Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. That's where you learn the most. Like she said, join a continuous improvement team, right? Gemba walk, go out on the floor, see what's happening and be part of those continuous improvement efforts, right? That's where you really learn the most early on in your career.
I had the pleasure of working with a number of interns and after that grads that at the moment are in very high positions. They are absolutely smashing it. And if I'm looking when they started, what were the key attributes, qualities that they had? They were curious and they were not afraid to come and say, I've done a mistake. That's fine, right? When you're at the beginning, you will do mistakes. Let's learn from them. Let's see how else we could have approached a certain problem. So next time we approach it differently. And if we still do a mistake, then we will once again go back to it, see exactly how it went, what would have been the other opportunities. I'm doing mistakes every day, right? Don't be afraid to do mistakes, but learn from them. Be curious, discuss with other people, and let's make sure that we turn it into a learning experience.
Excellent. Very good advice from all of you. So, as our time today is coming to a close, I do want to thank all of those in the background who made this event possible. And especially, I want to thank Alex, Amber, and Joe for a very engaging and insightful conversation. I would also like to thank all of our attendees for submitting so many great questions, sharing your time with us today. And if any of you are interested in learning more about Eaton's career opportunities, please visit us on the website, eaton.com/careers. This is the only link that you should be clicking on during this session today. You'll see it in the comments section and you can click on this link. We do appreciate your time and attention, and we're hoping that all of you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us today.